Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Fortunate Creations. I'm Kim, and this is a channel where we talk about all things to do with crafting. So from amigurumi to weaving and anything in between, if you like crafting, stick around. Chances are we're going to talk about it. So this is another episode of Coffee with Kim. So good morning. Start your day. So today I want to talk about this. So I think yesterday I told you I had the gotta finish 'ems. That's my way of saying if I'm working on a project for a while, I have to do a side project just to get it finished, just to have a finished project. So this is my gotta finish 'ems. And I put a button on it here, and it's a square shawl. So how did I make it? Well, first of all, I'm in love with it. Yeah, so I took my large Addi and I made 3 identical length panels. In this case, they were 225 rows each. So I'm writing this down as I go. 225 rows. Okay. Make sure they're the same length, because if you're going to sew them together, you need, I'm looking for my scissors. Okay, there. I found a little thread. Okay, so you want to make sure they're the same length because you're going to stitch them together. So then I went around the entire thing with a single crochet. But I got about halfway around, excuse me, and I realized, well, let me take it off so you can see. I realized that it was making the long line of it a little wavy. And I realized that's because I was using too big of a crochet needle. Sorry, my hair. It's tickling my face. I was using too big of a crochet needle, and I was like, or crochet hook. So I was like, well, what do I do with that? And then I realized as I laid it down, do nothing, because it's actually making a pretty cool collar. So I went all the way around, and it was a size 5.5 crochet hook that I did this. No, it was a 6. So it was a 6 crochet hook. So I was like, all right, look at this. It actually makes a nice collar without me even having to try. So then I found in my button collection a kind of cool button, and there we have it. So I really like this. A square shawl. I don't have a name for it, but I'd like to think of one. Or maybe you guys can, maybe I'll put maybe it needs one more button. For right now, it only has one button, but maybe it needs another button to help hold it in shape. Anyway, I got to think of a name for it. And then maybe I'll make another one and I'll do a tutorial on it. Same, I'm making notes. Tutorial for shawl. So yeah, I really do love it. And it's perfect. I don't like sweaters because I don't like long sleeves. So anyway, that got me to thinking as I was stitching these together. A lot of people do granny square blankets, right? So they make granny squares and they crochet granny squares and crochet them together. What if you made a bunch of squares on your Addi? So what I did is, it's a 46 needle Addi. So I figured you fold it in half, right? Because when you take it off to stitch it together, you're folding it in half. So I figured 23, and then I did 23 rows. So, I mean, is it a perfect square? No, but it's pretty darn close. So I'm going to make up a bunch of these after I finish that baby blanket. I got to finish that baby blanket. And I'll go back to that in a second. So I'm going to make up a bunch of these. I'm going to have Mr. Fortunate do the math and tell me how many of these I need to make a nice blanket. And because they were so easy to put together, if you hear weirdness going on, of course, Fritz and Stuart are behind me. What have you got? A box. So they were so easy to stitch together that I figured this will be easy. So, yeah, so that's going to happen. I'll tell Mr. Fortunate how big of a blanket I want to make and then ask him to do the math for how many squares. And then I can do a tutorial on that as well. Okay, that noise is giving me the chills. So there we have that. Now let's chat about the baby blanket. So I was sitting at the table working on it last night. Now remember, I was away from the house all day yesterday. Full day in the office, which I will be again today, but Fritz does not like that. Fritz gets very upset when I'm away for the whole day. He wants my attention. Even if he and I aren't interacting all day long, excuse me, he likes to know that I'm in the house. So on days when I'm not in the house, he gets very needy when I get home. So I was sitting at the table working on the baby blanket, and I can hear him on the couch. So I finally look over at him and I'm like, what is wrong with you? And he's so smart. I can't even, I mean, I know he's mine and you brag about your own, but he's just so smart. So he does this on my pillow that's sitting on the couch pillow. He wants me to come lay down or sit with him on the couch. So I grabbed all of my yarn and everything, my crochet hook, the baby blanket, you know, and of course I forgot a few things. So once I get situated, I had to ask Mr. Fortunate to bring them to me. So I get everything. And I'm crocheting along and he's sitting on my lap for about 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, he gets up and goes to the other end of the couch. After 5 more minutes, he gets down. Sorry, my throat. He gets down and goes on the floor. So I'm like, I took everything I was doing. I stopped it for you. I came over here and now you're ignoring me. So yes, the dog rules. Long story short, I didn't get much. I got like 4 rows done because he wanted my attention. And then he didn't want my attention. But why didn't I keep going? Well, because once I sit on the couch, I normally crochet sitting at the table. I can rest my arms and everything's there. So why didn't I finish? Because once I sit on the couch, it's time to lay down and relax. The whole day just kind of hits me and I'm just... So I ended up putting my feet up for a couple hours and watching, Jeopardy and then Jeopardy Champions, which is cool. I like Jeopardy Jeopardy Stars, Jeopardy, Celebrity Jeopardy. That's it. It's fun. I like it. I like to see the stars. You know, I like to see if they're educated. Is that the word? Or if they're just funny and fun, which either way is fine. But I don't know if you remember Mo Rocca. He was on there. And was really smart. And it was really, and there was a stand-up comedian. And then there was some actress. She was adorable. Her name was Katie. Honestly, other than Mo Rocca, I didn't recognize any of them in the whole tournament. Except for that one girl who was on Saturday Night Live. And then she was also, if you watch King of Queens, she played Spence's girlfriend for a while. That's how much I know about celebrities. I have my select few that I really like. And then I really don't know the names of others. So anyway, it was a great tournament. And I watched it. And by then, now it's 9 o'clock. And that's my bedtime. So I got 4 rows done on the baby blanket. Not a lot, but I'm halfway through, maybe a little more than halfway. And then I need, excuse me, I need to put a border around it. So I'm trying to decide, I might just do a half double all the way around. But let me know what you think. I think by the time I get to the end, I'm going to be like, okay, I need to be done. But I do think the half double, because of the stitch I'm using, you know, is pretty much the half double. Sorry, I need to know what he's doing. What are you doing? Fritz, what are you doing? He's looking at me like a little kid with his hand in the cookie jar. Hey, you're not supposed to be chewing. He's ridiculous. So anyway, I'm looking for a border to put around it. I might go back to Crystal at Bag O' Day when she actually did the tutorial for the feather stitch. If memory serves me correctly, she did give a suggestion of a border for that stitch. I might, and I think it was a half double. So I will check that out before I finish it. My goal is to get that blanket done by the weekend. And today's Wednesday. So that is my goal. I have to actually go through some of my yarn barf and put it in the car so I can drop it off to my friend Luba, because she has offered, no, sorry, hold on. I don't even know what that is, and you can't eat it. Stop it. You have every chew toy in the world. Stop chewing everything else. So, remember, my friend Luba has offered, yeah, I definitely need another button up here. My friend Luba has offered to do my yarn barf. So I'm going to put that in the car. And when I drop off the baby blanket to her, I'm going to drop off the yarn barf. And hopefully we can get some of that worked out. I've got so many little, can you see them? See these containers here? There's either yarn barf or little balls of yarn in it. And that's why I'm thinking taking those once I get them unbarfed. Is that the once we get them rolled into balls, I can use all of those scraps for that, as well as my stitch swatches. So I have purposes or uses for all of the things. I just got to get to all of the things in there. All of the, they're not skeins, right? They're balls. All of the balls in there. So I'm sitting here looking at my calendar blanket, and I'm making the decision that it's finished. So I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So I'm just gonna make sure it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm just gonna make sure I tie it off and we'll be done. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to, there's the last row is the 7th row. I'm gonna frog that out. I'm gonna tie this off. This is a nice heavy blanket, and I just don't think it needs to be any bigger. So am I ever going to do another calendar blanket? Probably not, because of the fact that once somebody is, how do I put this? Somebody sees this sitting on the back of my couch, they're not gonna be like, oh look, that's January, February, March. I get the satisfaction of how beautiful it is. And knowing that, you know, how much work I put into it and stuff like that. But for the amount of work, I just don't think it will be as recognizable as I wish it to be. So the calendar blanket is done. All I have to do is tuck my tails, and I'll be finished. I'll be able to put it out. I'm going to put it out on the back of the couch for a little while just to give it some. Now what are we chewing? Boy, we are in trouble today. Every time I take something from him, he looks at me like, well, you do have, don't get me wrong, he has every single toy known to pup And there's no reason for him to need mommy's yarn. There is no reason. Here, what is it? Woo! Ooh, I just threw him a pom-pom. Let's see what he does with that for a minute. He'll try to pull it apart, and then he'll get bored, and then he'll get mad at me. Yeah, so I definitely need a button on this because it keeps sliding down. I'll put one more button on that. Other than that, it's really pretty, but that one button will hold it and help it keep its shape. One more button. If I can't find another one like the one I already have on it, I'm going to have to take this one off and put two that match, obviously. Because you can't have, if you could see him. He's so silly. You really are so silly, Fritz. He's holding the pom-pom like this. So it almost looks like he's Rudolph with the pom-pom on his nose. It's like... Oh, he cracks me up. Now he'll be pulling it apart and then he'll be like... And he'll look at me like I did something wrong. But I did not. Okay, there we go. Tuck my tail. And this is finished. What are you doing down there, crazy? Huh? Making a mess for you to clean up, Mom. That's what he's doing. All right, so there you go. The calendar blanket, ta-da, is finished. And I do love it. What a beautiful blanket. Nice and heavy. I love the material it's made out of. I was looking for something that's right here in front of me. What did I do to my hair? I'll just tuck the tails while we're talking. That way I'll know it's finished. See? They gotta finishes. You can't just leave stuff hanging out forever. Don't leave your tails hanging out. Right? Tuck these in. So funny, speaking of tails, the other day I was showing Mr. Fortunate something I made. And didn't he... Boy, that's bothering me. And didn't he... Oh, there's a tail. You got to get... So he knows to check my tail. I don't know if I should say that. He knows to look on my homemade items to see if I've tucked the tails. How's that? How's that for a better way to say things? There, take that. So... That was funny. Anywho, so I'm tucking the tails final on this, and then I will be able to hang it out in the living room. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy with it. And I am happy that I made the decision to just be done. Some things, you know, it's nice. It's pretty as it is, you know. My whole thing, be creative and stuff. Also know when to stop. Know when something's pretty enough and know when something needs more work. I'm taking that off. Got my favorite baggy shirt on. Truth be told, I stole it from Mr. Fortunate. But now I'm chilly, so what I'm gonna do is set that aside. Ta-da, 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 ta-da. Here I am. Beautiful, right? Come on. Come on. There we go. All right. I got my morning poncho on. That's better. So, where'd the needle go? Oh, there it is. So, today is actually my goodbye party at work. They're catering in lunch. And my boss asked me, excuse me, where would you like me to cater lunch in from? And you know, literally, there's 5-star restaurants and everything all around. So what did I say? Chipotle's fine. Because I love Mexican food. So today for my goodbye lunch, I will be having Chipotle. Now, I'm going to have Chipotle without, well, I might do one, but I'm not going to say without carbs. Excuse me. My goodness. So I will do one tortilla, maybe two if I'm weak. I mean, after all, it is my party. And then I will just do like all the fixins that do not have the carbs in it. And I'm still working on this if you want. I'm sorry, I forget you can't see below here. So, but there is something fun going on today. Our sales meeting, which is normally just in a stuffy conference room at my office, is actually, we have a local news channel here. Excuse me again. Sorry, I know it's annoying. But we're all going over, as part of the company I work for, we have local news channel. And we're going over to have our meeting there and to see everybody. And I mean, that's where I started my journey with this company, was over at the news channel. So I'm actually going to be able to see some of my friends that I haven't seen in a while since I moved over to the other building. So that'll be nice. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I will give them all links to my channel so maybe they can come check it out. I mean, to them it's nothing because they're news anchors and they're weather people and they're, you know, sports people. But I actually used to do the on-air traffic report when I first started. So every day from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., I would sit in a little room, probably about the size of this one, me and a camera, and then I had the live traffic cameras, and I would give a traffic report. I tried to spruce it up a little bit because if you think about it, excuse me, if you think about it, you're saying the exact same thing 4 times an hour, every hour, from 4 to 7. And that gets really boring. So I tried to spruce it up a little bit. Quick funny story. When I first started, I had no clue. I mean, I knew how to talk about traffic and I knew how to talk. You can tell that. But I did not know the ins and outs of it. So I didn't know that when the light went on above the camera, that meant it was live. I didn't know that the piece in my ear, I didn't know they were going to talk to me while I was trying to talk to the camera. So, I'm okay. They're like, you're live, and 3, 2, 1. I went, what? Literally, I was like, what? So my second take was much better, but then again, it's live. So my first ever practice was me going, what? And I caught in real quick. I was like, oh, yeah, da, 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 da. And I, you know, you do the main drive, you know, the main roads and this and that. But by my third night, well, now I'm all comfortable. I know what I'm saying. I know what I'm doing. I had my rhythm down. So it was summer, and around here, sometimes the summer storms will hit like boom, like a monsoon, you know? And so I'm clicking through the cameras, getting ready. I come on after the weather. So it's traffic and weather. Yeah, traffic and, or weather and traffic. So I would come on and right after the weather. So I'm watching the guy on the weather on the monitor, and I know it's my turn. And I was just bored. So all of a sudden I'm like, what happens when you add rain to rush hour? And I threw it up to the live traffic, and it was just monsoon. You could barely see anything. And my boss actually came in afterwards, and he's like, that was good. So, but to tell you the truth, it got so boring so fast. I only did it for, I don't know, maybe 3 months. And then I was like, I can't, this is mind numbing. I can't do this anymore. But it was fun. It was a great experience. One last story. So my sister came to visit me, and she was actually like, this is all you could see of me right here. But my sister was sitting right next to me. And it's very difficult for my sister to not talk. That one specific sister. Sorry, Terry, you know it is. So it's very difficult for her not to talk. So she's here whispering stuff to me, commenting on what I'm saying live on the TV. I was like, you are killing me. But I mean, those are really fun experiences. And my other sister, Cindy, who's no longer with us, I actually found a tape. Well, her husband found a tape after she passed. She had a VHS tape in her recorder. That's how long it was. And every time I was on air, she would record me. So she had a whole VHS collection of me doing the traffic reports. That was pretty cool. So things like that. Anyway, I digress. The reason I did that whole story is because we're going back to the news channel today. So I will be able to see my friends and say goodbye to them and close the chapter. You know what I mean? Close the chapter completely by saying goodbye to them as well. Wow, this is a big blanket. So there we have it. All right. I got to get ready because I have an extra drive this morning. Because normally to work it's 27 minutes. But now I got to go on what we call the Northway. It's I-87 and it's a nightmare. Like, no matter what time of day you go on the Northway, it's a nightmare. It's stop and go traffic and it's a nightmare. I'm so glad that since we moved here to this side of the river and I work at my new location for the past, I don't know, 10, 15, I haven't had to go on the Northway because it's painful. So now, because the Northway connects to the New York State Thruway, but everybody or the majority of people come from south or come from north and they work in the capital in Albany. So everybody's heading south in the morning and they're heading north in the evening. And yeah, so that's what I'm about. I'm going to sneeze. I hope not. But so that's what I'm getting ready for. And I will let you all know how my luncheon goes. And I hope you have a great day. If you like the video and you have not yet, please subscribe. We are up to 660, 500, 660. So that's exciting. 660 subscribers. Please share my videos. I have a ton of playlists and I'm building on them every day. My animal shorts are so fun. And I did put up a short of Mr. Fortunate. Please check it out. Also where I work, they had Shark Week and they would hand us swag that has Shark Week on it. And he was having fun with I'll let it go at that. Please go over and watch Brian Has a Shark or Brian Shark Week, something to do with Brian and sharks, but go check that out. And yeah, have a great day and subscribe, share, like, thumbs up, all that fun stuff. I've got a lot of links below to a lot of fun stuff I talk about, the ChatGPT, Amazon, Audible, what else? I don't know, lots of stuff. Oh, buy me a cup of coffee. So yeah, I am out of here. Be creative. Have a great day. I will see you tomorrow.